Hey, welcome back to The Real Happy Ending. I'm Chuck Henson. People often ask me how I bridge the gap between my worlds. There was the high energy environment of a Bands of America stadium event and the quiet sanctuary of my massage practice here in Inverness. Or before that even, Bay News 9, being in front of a camera, the kind of tension and pressure that creates. And on the surface, they're all opposite of each other. But whether I'm behind the mic or behind the table, it's all about precision. And today, we're going to go behind the scenes with two men I am proud to call my friends, Bartley Weaver and Treyell Quinn. Now, we're talking about iron today, the men who build it, the men who push it around, and the science of how we keep it moving. Let's start with Bartley Weaver, former Kentucky State Trooper. He's a world-class competitive eater and the mascot at one time for the Tennessee Titans football team. Now, I'm not kidding. This guy's huge, and years ago, while I was still in massage school, I reached out to Bartley on Instagram. I saw his posts, I saw the intensity, I saw his style, and I said to him, Bartley, I'm a student, and I want to learn how to work on guys like you. He didn't have to say yes, but he did. He took a chance on me, and before I even had a client list, we built a friendship over those sessions, and he taught me that with a body that dense, you're not just rubbing skin, you're managing a machine. That's going to lead us into massage topic number 1 for today's podcast, myofascial release and structural space. With Bartley, we focused on myofascial release. His muscles are so dense that if the fascia, that connective tissue wrapping around them that we've talked about before here on the podcast, when it gets stuck, he is essentially trapped in his own frame. I use slow, sinking pressure to melt those layers, creating the slide and glide his skeleton needs to support that mass. It's about making a powerhouse move with the grace of an athlete. All right, then there's Treyell Quinn. Now, Treyell was referred to me by another client. He was on the road to his first show ever as a competitive bodybuilder. Now, one weekend, I'm at a Bands of America event, and the call comes in. His back has seized up right before, or relatively close to, his first show. I landed the next morning. I told him, look, when I get to town, I'm going to go straight from the airport to the office. You meet me there. This was a rescue mission. I used pin and stretch, in addition to some heat and percussive techniques to negotiate with his nervous system so that spasm would let go. But the work didn't stop there. A few days before his first competitive show, I went to his home. Now that leads me to massage topic number 2, muscle carving and aesthetic separation. This wasn't all about relaxation anymore. This was about sculpting. I used specific manual techniques and some tools I have to help carve out the separation of his legs so those muscles would pop under the stage lights. When you're in the trenches with a friend like that, you do whatever it takes to make sure their hard work is visible to the judges. That was our partnership. Now, in the gym world, there's a myth that the big guys need that big pain. I hear it all the time. Oh, hurt me, Chuck. Put a big elbow in me. I don't really live by that. I live by something I call the rule of 7. If you've been on my table before, you've heard me say that hurts so good is a real thing, but nothing more than a 7. 7, that's the sweet spot where the knot finally surrenders. If you go up to 8 or 9, as far as the pain is concerned, your brain is going to send a signal to your muscles to harden, to armor up, to guard, and then your body's fighting the therapist. The healing stops at that point. Elite care isn't about how much pain you can tolerate, it's about how much tension you can release. Brutality is not a badge of honor in wellness. All right, your homework this week is simple. I'm going to call it the 7-second check. Every time you sit down in your car or at your desk, I want you to take 7 seconds to drop those shoulders and unclench your jaw. Now, if you're doing it right, you'll feel a physical sink into your seat. That's the feeling of your nervous system resetting. Elite athletes do this in between sets. You should do it in between tasks. This episode brought to you, as always, by Chuck Henson Wellness in Inverness, Florida. If you're ready to move past the standard massage and experience structural maintenance that actually sticks, visit me here at the studio. And don't forget to check out my Stillness audio tracks. These are 4 minutes of digital decompression designed to match the frequencies we use in the session. You can find those at my Payhip link. I'll put that in the show notes. All right, guys, next week is the big one, episode 10. This is where we're going to be launching the full wellness guide. And until then, remember, your body is the only place you have to live, so let's make it a happy home. I'm Chuck Henson. Thanks for joining me for The Real Happy Ending. I'll see you soon on my table.